Well, it's another Tuesday night away game that Argyle go into under a little bit of pressure. Home form has deserted them, but it's on the road where they feel more confident. Can they grab a third win away from home on the spin against Wycombe Wanderers tonight? So far, it's win one, lose one over the last couple of games, consistency failing them, and Argyle are still floundering in the bottom four. Tonight they travel to Buckinghamshire to a familiar foe in Wycombe Wanderers. They were here just a month ago in what Tom cleverly described as the worst performance of the season. They will need to improve on that or risk being cut adrift at the foot of the table. Another big night then, in store on Argyle TV. Hello, good evening. I am Charlie Price and this is the pre-match show from Matchday Live on Argyle TV. And 18 games into the season, Argyle well and truly find themselves in a relegation scrap. Only 2 months ago, Wycombe were alongside them near the foot of the table. But they are the most informed side in the division and are unbeaten in 9 league matches, meaning that they are now flying up the table and are safely in 12th spot with eyes of the playoffs. It is a really tough afternoon for Argyle today, but they will be hoping that they can replicate some of the form that they have seen on the road of late. Who would have thought we'd be talking about away form saving Argyle's season? Now, if you haven't got your match passes, you can go and get them from our website. pafc.co.uk is the place to go. Audio and video match streaming passes are available there. Now, joining me and helping us through this evening is former academy coach and Mr. Argyle analysis, Aaron Cusack. And Aaron said it there. Who would have thought that we would be talking about the away form being Argyle's saving grace over the last couple of seasons? It's not been the case.
Absolutely not. You know, the fans have travelled thousands of miles and not picked up many points, you know, in that kind of outcome. And, you know, that seems to be the saving grace at the minute. And winning 2 of those 3 games to a clean sheet as well. So they've got to take the positives from those. You know, this time last week they went up to Leyton Orient and won 1-0, and if they can go up there this evening and show that resoluteness that we can see and we have seen in recent weeks, who knows what might return a bit later.
Just I was looking through the kind of home and away table. Purely on away games this season, Argyle would be comfortably mid-table. 13th, they picked up 9 points from the games that they've played so far. It's only 7 points and just 2 wins at home, which is the second worst in the league. So, I mean, what do you maybe put that down to, do you think?
I think it's more a case of when things don't go in your favour, they get more compounded. So if we go back a couple of years ago, this place was a fortress and players go onto that pitch knowing that teams have got to work extremely hard to leave Home Park with at least a point, let alone 3. And now when confidence is low and you don't know where those goals are coming from and where those points are coming from, you know, there's been an element of hostility with some of the crowd, if I'm honest, and sometimes playing away from home, there's less people there. So especially, you know, supporting your team. So maybe players feel a little bit more relaxed in that state. I don't know. But football is undulating, isn't it? Sometimes you're on a crest of a wave with all your confidence, and other times you're not. And we seem to find ourselves in the opposite position at the minute, where going away from home seems to be more comfortable than getting points at home.
And just on tonight as well, before we dive into team news, which we'll come to in just a moment, Wycombe, if you do go back 2 months, we're sitting 20th in the table, just a couple of points above where Argyle were, but very similar sort of place. Michael Duff's gone in there, and over the last 2 months, 12 games, they're the most informed side in the league.
Yeah, and that would be with the same squad.
Yeah.
You know, so it just goes to show that you can change your fortunes around. He's clearly done something that's galvanised them, got them playing well, got them winning points. And that's ultimately what it's all about, Charlie, isn't it? Winning football matches. You can play well and not win, you still don't go anywhere. But he's got them playing well and winning games. I think they're, 1 defeat in 11 or 2 defeats in 12 or something of that ilk. And, you know, they've been in the cups, really. Perhaps it was an anomaly for their defeat at the weekend. But at home, they look quite a force to be reckoned with, and it's going to be a very, very difficult evening for Argyle tonight.
And it has proved to be a difficult place, Adams Park, over the years for Argyle. They did win there the last time they went there, but it was the first in quite a while. Let's have a look at the Argyle team. So the main question, I suppose, that is being posed towards this squad and Tom cleverly is, where are the goals going to come from. Jamie Patterson proved on the weekend, in just his second start, that he may be a bit of a catalyst, but he is involved again, as is Brendan Galloway, who we saw there coming in for his 99th appearance for Argyle this evening. He is one of just 2 changes from the side that lost on the weekend to Bradford City. Malachi Boateng is partnered by Brendan Wiredu rather than Joe Rules in the middle as the other change. But it is otherwise as you were, Aaron. And I suppose the question mark is always going to be where are the goals going to come from. We think Sorinola will play slightly higher today, with Galloway coming in, although not totally sure. But that area is where you're looking at for goals.
Yeah, I think so. I'd be very surprised if they don't play a back 4. It seems to be a bit more of a settled outcome. From the weekend, all right, penalty aside, I know they didn't win the game, but they looked quite resolute. They looked a lot more balanced in that back 4. So I'd be very surprised if they changed that. One thing they've got to do this evening is support Hosseini, so no one's scoring any goals. So you may as well get bodies in the box because it's got to drop to someone rather than relying on, Talai, who's absent at the minute, and then saying, well, Hosseini, you're the one who's got to score the goals. Well, the likes of Dale and Patterson, who I thought played quite well on the weekend, he was involved in lots of, the better moments for Argyle going forward. And Sorinola, who's already scored this season. So they've got to support Hosseini. They can't allow him to be isolated and just chase the ball needlessly. They've got to go as a 3 to support him.
Here's a stat for you. Ready? 999 minutes since an Argyle player other than Laurent Talai. That's how long it's been since the last player scored. It's not a nice stat to receive, is it?
11
matches.
Wow, that's incredible. And that goes back to earlier what we were saying about confidence. And if people don't believe they can score, that they're not going to get into those goal-scoring moments because they don't have the belief they can. So tonight they've got to throw caution to the wind a little bit, especially when they're going forward, and take chances. In and around the box, if you get half a chance, work the keeper. But not only that, as a cluster, follow up. It's an evening game, so the pitch is going to be a bit skiddy, and little knockdowns will happen. So just throw caution and have a go.
The other thing that I think is quite pertinent today, maybe compared to Saturday, is the bench for Argyle. Barley Mumba dropping out of the starting lineup on the bench. Xavier Michi was the only attacking player on the bench on Saturday. Tegan Finn on there as well. So there's options should Argyle need to improve going forward. On Amici in particular, what did he have? Like 15, 20 minutes on the weekend? He's missed so much football, so it will take a while for him to get it going. But he could potentially be that sort of creative spark. Yeah,
I thought he started the season really well, and then obviously picked up that quite horrific injury. But what he does really well, Charlie, he's good at committing defenders. So he's able to isolate defenders 1v1. He's got something in him to go beyond, and he's got good linking qualities as well. He's got a great left foot. He likes to invert. He's already had 2 or 3 assists, and you want to get him on the ball. So I'll be surprised if he doesn't get any minutes this evening, and if he gets those minutes, he's going to want to try and do something of value. And I think this was his contribution against Lincoln, his goal. I think he's got a great left foot, and they're going to want to get him back on the pitch as quickly as they can. They've got to kind of enter him in slowly, and it's nice to know that you've got someone of his calibre on waiting in the wing.
He's not played since August, and people hate excuses and everything like that, but you do look at that and think, well, that was one of the main marquee signings. Maybe not in terms of money, but in terms of profile of player, and he's been missing for 3 months.
He's a big miss to me because he's left-footed as well. We haven't got an abundance of left-footers who are able to create things, so it gives Cleverly the option to either bring him on in his favoured inverted role where he cuts in, or even just move into his more orthodox natural side on the left and see what materialises. Because we've had some joy recently where we've put more orthodox crosses in and got returns. So, it's nice to have that option available, and they're going to want to get him on the pitch as soon as they can to get minutes in his legs.
Let's have a look at Wycombe then. They lost on the weekend in the FA Cup against Exeter City, but it was a bit of a blip, I think. They're unbeaten in their last 8 league games. We've spoken about their form. This is the side that Michael Duff has gone with. It shows one change from the weekend, and it's an attacking one. Bradley Fink, their number 9, coming in for his first league start, replacing Keelan Boyd-Muntz, who's a midfielder. They basically got 3 strikers on the field. There was Sam Bell, Fink and Collie Woodrow, who got a double against Argyle earlier on in the season. Notable milestones: Jack Grimmer making his 400th career appearance, today at right back, their skipper, and Luke Leahy making his 350th League One appearance as well. So a mixture of experience, bit of energy, but attacking intent. We don't know whether it's going to be a 4-4-2, whether it's going to be a 4-2-3-1. It's quite tricky to work out because of the change that they made, chucking another forward player on there.
Yeah, and when you look at, if they are 4-4-2, the two most potent players are the two wide players. Yeah. So if you've got them supporting Woodrow and Fink, then they are going to go for it. For me, that indicates that they're going to go on the front foot early. Luke Leahy, who's got 5 assists already this year, he's going to be their kind of link player. And for me, that indicates they want to put Argyle to bed early. They want to put them on the front foot, put immense pressure on them, go quite direct, and try to break Argyle's kind of heart, so to speak, in that early section of the game.
Yeah, you mentioned the two wide players. Sam Bell had 6 goals, I think, in all competitions this season. Onyedinma has 5. He's got 5 assists in all competitions as well. I mean, that's, 11? It's 11 goals between them this season from wide areas.
And plus the assists, you're looking at 18, 19 goals between them. So if they're the two that are slightly deeper, supposedly than what we've just seen, then you know that's going to be a force to be reckoned with, and they'll bring good balance as well. Bell and Ollie, I mean, they're different in the way that they play. One's a bit more direct, but they know where the net is, and they're in form. And if they're in form, you're going to shoot on sight, and you believe you can score every time you get the ball.
They absolutely are in form. If you look at that, Bell has 3 in his last 2 home games. Onyedinma hasn't scored for 4, but he's got 2 in their 4-1 victory a couple of weeks ago. So, yeah, absolutely flying. One's for Argyle to look out for. Let's hear from the head coaches. We'll start with Tom Cleverley. He sat down with me after the game on Saturday and kind of spoke about the challenges facing Argyle at the minute to try and get a bit of consistency into their form. Gaffer, it only felt like a couple of weeks ago we were previewing Wycombe. We're doing so again today, and we will be doing so again in a couple of weeks' time. How much does it help? How much does it not help that you've had a chance to see a team?
Yeah, I think it helps. I also saw them play when I went to watch Port Vale a couple of weeks ago. They're a team I know very well. They're a team that's playing to a high level of consistency. They had a blip at the weekend. But since Michael's gone in there, they're a team who have been one of the best in the league. It'll be a tough test. We have to show a better version of ourselves than we did in the Cup, because for me that was our poorest performance of the season, and we will. We're prepared to do so. We've showed a level of consistency in our performances that sooner or later will turn into results, because we look like a team who can control games now. We're creating chances. Okay, the final part is the bit that we're missing. But we also look like keeping clean sheets now.
Yeah. On that kind of goal-scoring thing, dilemma, whatever we want to call it, you mentioned creating chances now. How do you go about scoring them, like converting them, making that chance into a real goal-scoring chance?
Yeah, and that's the toughest part for the players. It's where you pay the money for the strikers, the number 9s. We tackle that with the technical aspect on the training pitch, repetitions and techniques used in certain moments. The mental aspect as well, it's always about the next action for the forwards and being completely present when that opportunity comes. And because once one comes, 2, 3, 4 will come for the guys, and then as a club we're looking to obviously strengthen in those areas of the pitch in January to help us and have a little bit more variety of goals across the pitch.
Everybody's saying the same things about creating chances to score from. One thing he did say in the press conference was that he can sleep a little bit easier now. I think after the Wycombe game in particular, he said he couldn't sleep because he was so worried about the team.
Yeah.
Do you agree with him? Are Argyle in a better place now than they were when they went to Adams Park at the beginning of November?
Yeah, I think they are. They've had a couple of victories since. So they've managed to keep a couple of clean sheets. If we look at the most recent game, they were okay. I thought they were okay. They were pretty good first half without obviously converting, which is the next step. Obviously, you've got to get the structure right. We look a lot more resolute in open play. I thought for 50 minutes against Northampton, we looked pretty resolute as well, and then we capitulated. So the big elephant in the room, so to speak, Charlie, is What happens when you go a goal down? That's the problem at the minute. So we go a goal down, and there's no belief in the squad that you can, gather something from the game. And
if you're expecting Wycombe to be as sort of front foot as we think they might be today, and their supporters have kind of echoed that, then that could be the test, couldn't it? Really early on in the game.
I mean, that would have been their preparations. They go, well, they've gained a single point. Wycombe would say they haven't gained a single point, Argyle, when they've gone a goal down this season. So we may as well go very attacking from the offset, try and get a goal early, and then the form would suggest that we're going to win the game. So they've got to try and curtail that as best they can. But it requires players, the front line to step up and change the form. So things will change eventually, and you've got to believe it can start with the next game that's directly in front of you.
Yeah. Well, Wycombe will be looking to bounce back. They picked up a rare defeat on Saturday. It was just the third of Michael Duff's tenure as head coach, and this is him speaking after the game at St James Park.
It's been a disappointing week in the sense of exiting 2 cup competitions. We now know that our focus is purely on the league. I guess it could go one or two ways from here. What do you do? What's your message to the boys now to galvanise them to make sure that we're moving up the table now rather than down it?
What are we? Start of the season, we go 1 win in 10 or 11 and go unbeaten for 13. So are we a good team or a bad team? It's generally been the same players, the work's been the same, and that's what we have to get to the bottom of it, because I don't know whether we've subliminally just gone, I think we'll be all right. I've said it since I come in. All right's the enemy in football. Do you think you're all right? You're going backwards. I'm not saying that's what it is, but that's what we need to get to the bottom of it. We're still, I know it's all positive, people start looking upwards and upwards and upwards, and it's not that I'm a pessimist, but I'm also realistic enough to go, well, it won't just happen. You need to fight and run, and we've done that in games, but today, like I said, the last half an hour just looked wide open. People just doing what they wanted to do, not what the team wanted them to do, which won't happen and can't happen again.
An opportunity to respond on Tuesday. We've beaten Plymouth once already at home this season. They're in a difficult place. We need everyone together, don't we, now, to try and get this win and get us back on track?
Yeah, absolutely. They'll be desperate for a win, and if they're more desperate than us, we'll lose. So the supporters that were here today, so apologies to them, because it's a long way to come to watch that, and they'll be coming home as frustrated as me, I'm sure. So yeah, we need to clear the decks with it, clear our minds. It's not the end of the world, because it's a game of football and it's not the 13th or 14th. But recognise why we lost the game is the most important part, and not getting too emotional with it is the problem that you've got is with the game coming so quickly. You've got to park it up quick and move on, and hopefully we can give a similar performance for the first hour and then be more ruthless ultimately.
There are always different interviews after a game to when you have 24 hours at least to kind of think about it. But there was some quite interesting things in there about when he was saying, are we a good team, are we a bad team? First 10 games of the season, I think they picked one or two matches, hence why they were right at the bottom of the table. Changed their manager. He's come in. They've lost one of their next 12 in the league, and then he was like, if we think we're all right, we won't be. Yeah. This is now the part of the season where you've got to decide what we're going to be.
I thought he spoke there with clarity. Emotions run high immediately after a game, so it's easy to get lost in that emotion. But he spoke really clear in the sense that if you think you're doing all right, you're going backwards, and he has a clear vision. So that for them is a reset moment. I.e., we've been doing so well the last 10, 12 games. Reality's hit home, and he just said then, if the team that they play next, which is us tonight, are more desperate to win, they'll win the game. So he will have them primed and ready to go. That doesn't become a trend, a constant. So for us, it is feeling like we're going into a lion's den a little bit, because they'll have them motoring and coming out the blocks fast. And for me, he sounds like a manager who's really clear on what he wants to do.
On that then, so what are the key things that Argyle have to do? What are you looking at and thinking, because of what we think Wycombe will kind of chuck at us today? What do Argyle need to do well, certainly early on?
For me, they've got to defend their box really well. They've got to think of it as like a fortress. No one's getting into the box. You know, it might be that it's not a case of just chasing the ball needlessly. It's about being disciplined and structured at possession and recognising the moments when they might engage the ball, but defend that box to not allow Wycombe to get free chances at goal. I think they will probably look to try and turn us quite early, get in behind. So we've got to make sure we don't give too much space in behind and be patient and let the game maybe slow it down a little bit, try and take the sting out of it, and then be braver in possession when we counter. Can we test their keeper to make them realise that they are in a football match?
Yeah, and I suppose the good thing, I suppose, is that Argyle have kind of shown that they have done that a bit the last couple of games. And now, admittedly, it was a side that are bottom of the table in Port Vale, and a side that had made a lot of changes in the Virtue Trophy in Leyton Orient's case. So today is a very different challenge. And I suppose it'll be a test, like a tester, won't it? Like, are we actually improving?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And if you look at the Leyton Orient game last week, what was pleasing, I know we won the game, we won it late, but I thought we deserved to win as well. But the last 20 minutes in particular, we created lots of chances, lots of attacking positions that were healthy, and they looked well worked. And that gives you confidence, because that means players are connecting and working together to fashion out clear-cut chances, chances that are testing the keeper. It's when you look completely devoid of any ideas, that's when the worry sets in. And that wasn't the case last week. So they've got to take positives from that and remember those feelings of how they work the ball. Give ultra respect to Wycombe tonight, but believe in yourself as a footballer as well. Work the ball. You move the ball to move the opponent. And if you move the opponent well, you'll create the gaps to play through. But it's about how they respond when little setbacks go against them in particular.
Yeah, which will be a real test for Argyle today. Wycombe not lost at home since August. They've won their last 3 there. They're pretty formidable, but are a little bit raw, as we've been saying, after that defeat on the weekend to Exeter City. If you haven't got your match passes yet, then you still have time to go and get them. They're on our website, pafc.co.uk. Just hover over the Argyle TV tab and you'll find all the information in there, wherever you are in the world. It is pretty much time to hand over to the commentary team at Adams Park. The former Argyle defender, John Ashton, is alongside Rob McNichol, and Argyle's trip to Wycombe is next.